Hello everyone, welcome to the last in the series of my relationship compatibility series from the soul urge number. Now I think I forgot to mention all this in my 22 soul urge video, and if I did I apologise to all the soul urge 22ers. I might have even done the same in some of the others. I'm very absent-minded, but here goes. So the soul urge number is one of the core numbers in your chart. Life path number being the most important, the expression or talent number or focus number, no, key number, a lot of people call it key number, is your talent number, which is which is the next most important number after the life path. Then the soul urge number, which is this one, which is the next most important. And then of course your birthday number. Now, the birthday and the life path number are the lessons you're here to learn. So these numbers aren't necessarily strengths to you, they're your lessons in this lifetime. So it's difficult to really think of how a life path number or a birthday number could be attributed to someone's compatibility in their relationships. The same with your expression number, really. You know, people with different talents doesn't necessarily mean they're incompatible or not. But what is a good number to use for relationship compatibility is your soul urge number or your heart's desire number, third most important number in your chart. And it's your innermost drive. It's what you really, really, really want from life, deep, deep, deep down. It's not what you're here to learn. It's not what you're talented at. It's basically what your heart truly wants deep, deep down. And what better way to know whether your relationship will work is to see whether your soul urge numbers are compatible. So I'm going to put my video for working out the core numbers in the description box for you, so you can work out all your core numbers if you so desire. But the next page here is explaining this again. Even though this is all in my core numbers video, I'm explaining this again. So to work out your soul urge number, it's calculated from the vowels in your full birth name. Some people make a mistake and use the vowels in just their first name, but it's the vowels of your full birth name, with each name worked out separately. You don't want to add them all together in a straight line, because you might miss those master numbers and it will give you a number that isn't quite right. You'll still get the same number at the end, but the two numbers before won't be quite right. It's not so relevant, the two numbers before, when it comes to soul urge. It's mostly the single number, but I always like to do it correctly each time, you know. Really important, especially for a numerologist, to make sure they do all their calculations meticulously. So this person, on their birth certificate, their full name is Joe Robert Smith. And that was the name their parents put on their birth certificate when they were born. Now, I take each name and break it down and then add all the numbers up at the end. So I start with Joe. So if you look here at Joe, there are two vowels in Joe's name, O and E. The O vibrates at the 6 and the E vibrates at the 5. So I add those two together and I get to 11. If that was another double number, I would reduce that down again until it was a single number. But because it's an 11, I'm going to leave it because that's a master number. So Joe has a soul urge of 11. Then do the next name, Robert. Again, weirdly, there's an O and an E, which again 6 plus 5, because it's got the same vowels as Joe. So Robert is also vibrates at the 11. So we'll leave that there. And then his surname Smith has one vowel which vibrates at the 9. So at the end there we add the 11 plus the 11 plus the 9. We get to the 31. That's not a master number, so we reduce that down again to a 4. So Joe Robert Smith's soul urge number is a 4. He wants to plan. He wants to build security. That's deep down in his heart. That's what he wants to do most in his life, to feel secure and have a stable, strong base, achieve his goals. Okay, so that's what Joe Robert Smith's soul urge number is. Right, so soul urge 33 with the soul urge 1. Now, The 33 is one of the master numbers that is sometimes very attentive to their relationship and sometimes off doing their own thing. And the 33 is the most extreme at that. I think the 33 is the most loving and the most attentive when they're taking time in the relationship, when they're giving time to the relationship, very affectionate. But they also need time out as well. So they swing from being very attentive and affectionate towards needing time to go and deal with their own thing. Because, the soul urge 33 is not an easy soul urge to have. So the soul urge 33 won't always be focused on their relationships because they've got so much to do. Their soul urge and their heart's desire expects so much of them that they will sometimes have to look away from their relationships and focus a lot more on what they're here to do. But the 33 adds up to the 6, but a higher vibrational 6, which gives the 33 very much focus on family and career. So they want that stable base. They need that stable base of family and people and that they love to go back to, so that they have that stability behind them when they go off to speak to their audience. I think when it comes to the one likes excitement in their relationship. But my intuition and my research sort of tells me that the one doesn't like being upstaged. The one is quite comfortable in front of a microphone and quite comfortable with the accolades that would come from that. Now, the 33 soul urge also builds an audience, and I wonder whether the one, they'd like the excitement that a 33 might bring to their lives, because ones really like excitement in their relationships. But the one, I don't know, the one doesn't like to be upstaged and can often be a bit domineering. And I can't see the 33 being, happy with this. I mean, the 1 and the 33 are so far removed numerically from each other. I feel in my intuition that would be quite a distant, no-go relationship. I mean, again, I could be wrong. If you're a 1 with a 33 or a vice versa, please let me know different. But I think the 1 would struggle at times with the 33's attentiveness because the 1 isn't overly focused on the relationship. And I think the 33 would feel sometimes a bit domineered by the 1. And I think the 1 would be very, very overshadowed. I mean, the 1 likes to lead in love and they like to be in control. And I can't see the 33, the master 33, having that on any level. The 1 needs independence, so they need freedom. So both numbers need their own freedom. So there is going to be a certain amount of distance straight away because the 1 is very task orientated. And if you're a soul urge 1, you won't necessarily prioritize relationships in your life. But you do want, if you're a soul urge 1, your relationship to be exciting. So the 33 would have to keep the relationship exciting to keep the 1 interested, really. The 33 can offer some excitement for the 1, I think, because they've got so much, they would have had so much experience that they feel that they have under their belt. But I think the 1 may be less interested in building the family that the 33 might want to build. The 1 does build a family, but it might not be the 1's focus. And remember, this is soul urge we're talking about here, deepest desires. We want to make sure that each number isn't diluting each other, like one overshadowing another. And I think the 1 can often feel quite overshadowed by the powerful 33. I just don't feel the energy of these 2 numbers are compatible. The research doesn't put them together. In fact, it puts them as least compatible for the 33. And for the 1, doesn't even mention the 33 for the 1. So I don't know. It doesn't say you're particularly incompatible, but I feel that the energy doesn't quite mesh. But, anyone that works and is prepared to work at their relationship or learn about each other, there's no reason why you can't make a relationship work if you put the work into it. Number 2, so the soul urge 2, they need relationships more than any other number. So they're going to be a lot more attentive in the relationship, a soul urge 2, than a soul urge 33. The soul urge 33 will love the relationship, will want the relationship, and they'll want to build a family if they feel committed to a soul urge 2. But they won't always be able to be there for a soul urge 2 because they will need to get away and do their own thing. Now, the 2's a good server and a good supporter, and they would love the emotional intimacy that the 33 could sometimes give them. And I think sometimes they could be extremely overly happy because the 2 loves emotional intimacy and the 33 loves to give it. The 2 is loyal and committed. They would put the 33 first in every way. In fact, they might do a bit too much at times, and they need to focus on making sure they're keeping their boundaries because the 2 is very prone to over-serving and doing a bit too much for people and then burning themselves out and, throwing an emotional fit. What else can I say? So the 2's are the peacemakers. They avoid conflict, but they very much need one-to-one relationships. It's like the top thing in their life. So the thing is for a 2 is if they're with a 33, they're only going to get some of the 33's time. So whereas the 33, I think, would love the 2 because of their social skills and the way they help and serve the 33, I can see the 33 loving that. And if I can see here, the research doesn't really support it, but as far as I'm concerned, having someone like a 2 having your back is a good thing. But the research doesn't really put a 2 and a 33 together. For the soul urge 2, I suppose I can see the issue. They're going to want more attention from their partner that maybe the 33 can give. But they are both similar people, both very social, both very compassionate, empathetic. So they could have quite a deep relationship when they are together. But I think that the 2 would feel a lot of jealousy and resentment and be a bit possessive of the 33, which could cause an issue. I don't know what you guys think. But again, if you're a 2 with a 33 or vice versa and you're making it work, I'd love to hear from you. But other than that, I think, they could be okay together, but I think the 2 would suffer more than the 33 in the relationship. But that's just my intuition. Okay, so the 3 with the 33. So basically the 33 is just the double of the 3. So they're both very, very, very similar people. The 33 deals with the 3 at double intensity. So very, very, very similar in their ways, both very highly attentive, affectionate, social. The 3 loves their spontaneity and fun and excitement. But the 3 can struggle to be faithful in relationships a lot of the time because the 3 likes excitement. They like change. They're a bit flaky. They're very expressive and artistic and emotional. And they like to socialize and meet new people. And, the 3 isn't really good on commitment in a relationship. So it's got to be good for a 3 to commit. And I think the sensitive emotions that the 33 could bring to a 3 has the power to settle a 3 down. I don't know what you guys think, but I think the power of a 33 might be enough to settle a 3 down. The 3 will love the attention and love that they would get from a 33. And the 3 can be a bit flaky, and the 33 might stabilize them a bit and, encourage them to build a home and family in order to have a bit more stability in their life. Or the 3 might completely push the 33's family thing away and want to do their own thing. The 3 doesn't commit easily. They want excitement and, they will go outside the relationship, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's just what 3's want. There's no judgment here, 3's. You want your relationships to stay fresh. There's nothing wrong with that. And you will go outside the relationship if you feel the relationship is going stagnant. The research says that the 33 and the 3 are compatible. And I think, well, they're both very, very, very similar people and they vibrate at a similar energy. Just the 33 is stronger than the 3 in its vibration, but it's still the same. and the 3 more has a 6 vibration. So I suppose that's the difference. The 3 soul urge wants fun and flexible schedule and excitement, and there's no reason why the 33 can't provide that, because the 33 is similar in their ways. They're very flexible and flaky and emotional. So the 3 will be faithful as long as the relationship's exciting and they feel that the 33's got something to offer them and they've got something to offer the 33. But I think that often, the 33 is a big, big soul urge. You're here to do something big. So I don't know whether the 3, they're both here. The 3 and the 33 both want to perform to an audience. That's their urge. And the 33 might overshadow the 3, and I think the 3 might feel overshadowed and sometimes in a lot of ways pinned down by the 33. But they're very similar numbers, and I do feel that with work and knowing each other well, this could work. I mean, the research for the Soul Urge 3 says that the numbers most compatible with the 3 are the 1, 6 and the 9. And it doesn't mention the 33 at all. But I feel that, these guys have got the potential to have a good relationship, in my view, anyway. But it's not the most compatible of all the relationships. Let's just put it that way. Soul Urge 4 with the 33. Right. Now, this one's an iffy one. They both want, I don't know, the 33 and the 4. How would they be good? They both want home and family. The 4 could offer the 33 the security and loyalty of family. Because the 4 associates security with family and the 33 loves family. So they would both have this mutual love of building a family together. The 4 wants to be very secure and can be quite a secure influence on the 33. The 33 may be more interested than the 4 at this point, simply because, I don't know, the 4 is very task orientated. And again, 4 is one of those numbers that doesn't put a priority on their relationships. So because it's your soul urge, you'll feel more of a soul urge to build and achieve goals if you're a 4. More of a soul urge to build security if you're a 4. And sometimes for a 4 that does mean family, which will meld up with 33 who wants family. So when it comes to building a family together, they could both fit very well. The 4 would offer security and loyalty. The 33 is the research says that the 33 and the 4 are compatible, and I can see how. And where I could see them maybe snags is they're quite different. Unless opposites attract, they're going to be quite different people. A 33 is very flamboyant. He's the entertainer, the performer, the emotional performer. And the 4 is more likely to be quite stoic and businesslike and quiet. So they would be opposites in their nature, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they couldn't get on together. Many opposites attract, and the research says that the 4 and the 33, on the 33's side anyway, would be quite good. But when it comes to the 4 likes the security of home, and the 33 would be down with that. The 4 likes time on their own, so I don't think they'd be overly worried when the 33 needed to go and do their own thing and create their audience, as it were. For the Soul Urge 4 is all about just building a safe, secure, strong place to grow and develop. It's a provider, but they often attract people that need to be supported, but a 33 shouldn't need supporting, so that shouldn't be an issue. The 33 may prove to be a little flaky and emotional for the 4. The 4 likes to be alone, so could possibly offer the 33 the freedom, as I've already said. And the research says the numbers most compatible with the 4 are the 6, 7 and the 11 and the 22. It doesn't really mention the 33, only that the 3 is the least compatible. And I suppose you can deduce is that if a 3 is not compatible, then maybe a double 3 definitely is not compatible with a 4. But when I look at the types and the urges of both numbers, I fail to see how they would definitely not be able to be a couple. one creating their audience and changing the world, and the other one creating the security behind them. Yeah, two different people, but it's possible for these two numbers to be good in a relationship, in my view. The 33 would be certainly interested in a 4. So yeah, I think these two are, good numbers together, 33 and a 4. 33 and the 5. So, the 5 finds committing to a relationship difficult. So when it comes to all the numbers, the 5's going to be a bit flaky. The soul edge 5 needs a partner who allows them freedom. The 33 would do that, but of course it'd create a lot of distance because, 33 off to do their audience and create their audience and express themselves, and the 5 off travelling up the Andes or having adventures in Madagascar. You can see there could be a lot of distance between these two people, and the 5's not going to give the 33 that 6 security of home and family that the 33 desires. So I struggled to see how the 33 and the 5 could really help each other or be compatible in any way. What can I think? How could they be compatible in any way? The 5, the 5 just won't offer the 33 what they want. The 33 wants home and family. They want commitment. They want attentiveness. The 5's not necessarily going to provide that. They're both very spontaneous, fun-loving people, so they'd have great social times together. They'd probably laugh a lot together. Fun and spontaneous side of the 33 may attract the 5 for a short period or maybe for a long period. But, the soul edge 5 is very scattered, very adventurous. So they would want to do a lot of adventure stuff, a lot of traveling, but also they need to work on their discipline and work on a specialism to achieve their soul urge. And the 33 wants to achieve an audience and be creatively expressive. So I see these two numbers going in two different directions, really. And I think that the relationship between the 33 and the 5 would be far too distant for it to actually go forward. But again, guys, what do you think? I don't know a 33 soul urge and a 5 soul urge, but my intuition and my feelings and my research say that they would probably not really take much notice of each other. There'd be too much distance, and I don't think they'd give each other what each other wants. However, this one's a difficult one. The research doesn't put the 6 and the 33 together. I'm quite surprised by that, other than the fact that the 33 might overshadow the 6 a little. These two are very similar people. The 33 adds up to the 6 at a higher vibration. So the soul urge 6 and the 33 6 could have a good crack at achieving the same things in life, in my opinion. The higher vibrational nature of the 33 could be really good in helping the 6 to overcome their ideals and maybe accept reality that little bit better. So it might be a bit of work for the 33 there, so that could be the reason for the snag, possibly. So both numbers are attentive and loving, affectionate. They're empathetic. So both numbers are very, very, very similar people. Just 33 as you focus on the double 3, but they both add up to the 6, remember. Both interested in family, both very focused on working hard for the family, maybe more so the 6, because the 6 really wants a long-term partnership, and they will work hard to keep their relationship going, and it will be the focus of their life, their community, their family, their ideals. Very similar people in their way, in their manner, and the research doesn't say they're compatible or incompatible, really. It doesn't really mention it, which does surprise me. I feel that the 6 and the 33 could work quite well together. They're both similar people and they both crave home and family. The only times when it could be an issue is when the 33 goes off to build their audience, But then the 33 has the choice then whether to hold the domestic fort at home and be there to support the family when the 33 comes home. So again, my intuition on this subject is that whether the research says it or not, I think the 33 and the 6 could have a good crack. But again, tell me what you think if you disagree. Soul Urge 7, well, you sevens, you struggle with all your relationships, don't you? I mean, the 7 really is only compatible with partners that understand them. So other spiritual people that might be interested in similar things to the 7. So close relationships can be a bit of a struggle for the 7. We already know that. Intimacy isn't their focus or priority, and they like to be on their own. So if you're a Soul Urge 7, you're not going to put relationships as your top priority. That means family building is not going to be your top priority. Being around other people at all is not going to be your top priority. You like to be on your own. So for a 7 soul urge to work in a relationship, they need to find someone that is not too needy and willing to give them the freedom they need to sit on their own and do their own thing and not smother them all the time. And this can be, quite difficult to do, I would imagine, because the 33 is quite attentive and affectionate when they're around. They'd be fine. I think the 33 and the 7, they'd be very distant because the 7 would enjoy the time away from the 33, and the 7 might struggle when the 33 is being really attentive and affectionate. I just think they're very different people. So the 33 is about performing and expressing to their audience, outward focused. But the 7 is more interested in their own inner development than in building a relationship or, building a home and family or going anywhere near an audience. My goodness, Soul Urge 7s, they don't want to be anywhere near an audience. They'd rather be locked away with their books and their interests, or in their meditation room, being spiritual and develop them inside. It's like inward versus outward focus. So I see them being two very different people. I can't see the 33 being overly enamoured by a 7 and vice versa. But what do you think? I mean, the research doesn't show that the 7, in fact, the 7 doesn't feature. The 7 and the 33 don't feature together at all. So it's not to say they're not overly incompatible or compatible. They're just not mentioned in the research as being anything amazing, which I would agree with. Okay, so the Soul Urge 8. So again, the Soul Urge 8 is another one that doesn't focus on their relationships. They're more interested in success and in their career. So if your Soul Urge is an 8, you're not going to focus on prioritize on relationships. You're going to focus on your own success. I've just pressed the button. You're going to focus on your own success and your own building of abundance, and that kind of thing. That's going to come first. That's going to be a priority for a Soul Urge 8. And it would, the 8's compatibility would totally depend on whether the other person or the 33 shares their vision to succeed in life and offer the freedom and support for them to achieve that success, abundance and security. The thing is, the 33, I mean, they don't necessarily share the desire to achieve success financially or in a business way. They might do, but not necessarily. But they're not, a 33 is a big soul urge. They're not going to want to be sitting back supporting the 8. So the 8 isn't going to be supported all that well by a 33 soul urge. But I tell you, the 33 will give the 8 the freedom because the 33 needs freedom too. And again, you can see that this could cause distance between the two of them. One focused on his thing and the other one focused on their thing. And, are they meeting in the middle? Maybe not. In fact, I would imagine not. I think the 8 is unlikely to be attentive enough for an affectionate 33. They both have very differing desires. I think the 8's very focused on the world, and the 33 is very focused on the emotional and the performance and the people. So they have different desires and different needs. The research says the 33 is most compassionate with the 3, the 4, the 11, 22 and 33. least compatible with the 1 and the 8. So my intuition matches the research here that the 33 and the 8 aren't really a good mix. The research for the 8 is that the 8 is most compatible with business numbers like the 2 and the 8 and the 22, which are very organized, structured and business numbers. So yeah, the 33 and the 8 are very, very different people, and both myself and the research wouldn't necessarily put these two soul urge numbers together. But again, I really want to hear what you guys think. You might be a 32 with an 8 or vice versa. I need to hear from you if you are. So 33 with the 9. Right, so the nine's very attentive, and I think the 9 tends to be the number that's compatible with the most numbers on the Enneagram, because the soul urge 9 is very developed, wisdom-filled and discerning. And if your soul's urge is to be a 9, then you're focused on integrity, doing the right thing, listening to your intuition and following in it for the good of others. Very internal, very spiritual, very about behaving in such a way that your very being becomes your following. And what I mean by that, what you do and how you live your life, you have followers that your life is your teaching. That's what I'm looking for. For the soul urge 9, you want your life to be your teaching. You want followers, you want to be a leader, you want to be charismatic. So the 33 and the 9 kind of both look for an audience. But I think the 9 is more a spiritual audience. Maybe the 33 has more scope to be more subjects like creative artist or films or music. But the 9 is a very spiritual number and very much on an inner journey of intuition, integrity, and gains followers. So this one's a difficult one. I did a lot of pondering and meditation over this because the 9's desires are very inward focused. They're less interested in external expression, even though they do have followers. If they've got 9 in their numbers or a soul urge 9, they don't necessarily want those followers. You know, it's not something that they find exciting to have people following them around or listening to their every word. So they're less about the performance than the 33 would be, and more inward focused, gaining wisdom and knowledge and listening to their intuition rather than overthinking and being too analytical and then making silly decisions. That's the problem for the 9. So with one being very outward focused and one being very inward focused, I mean, they're both very caring, very compassionate numbers. They're both very loving numbers, the 33 and the 9. They're both open to the needs of others, flexible, interesting. Well, both numbers are very similar in that way. But I don't feel that they would be overly enamored with each other, even though they are quite similar. The research doesn't put the 9 and the 33 together either. They have different desires, really. I do think one's inward focused and one's more outward focused, and I struggle to see how they would be able to achieve both their soul urges together. I think they would overshadow each other, or their tasks or their goals would end up going in different directions. Well, that's just what my intuition tells me. The research for the 9 says that the most compatible number for a 9 is the 3, 6 and the 7, and the least compatible, the 2, 4 and the 8. So it doesn't mention the 33 at all. So it doesn't mention whether it's compatible or overly incompatible, the 9 and the 33. But yeah, I would say they have a chance at making it because they're similar people, and if they want to understand each other and maybe even work together to build that following and that audience, they could possibly do so. But I wouldn't put them as top compatibility, maybe somewhere in the middle. So the 33 with an 11. Now all master numbers struggle a little bit with their relationships because they all need to take time out. So for all of the master numbers, they're not 100% focused on their relationships. It's not going to be their whole or their top priority. Out of the three master numbers, I would put the 33 as the best at wanting a relationship because of their need for family and their really loving and passionate nature. So out of the three master numbers, I would put the 33 as the most likely to be able to have a partner, especially when you link that to the 6, 3 and 3 plus 6, into building the home and the family. So the 33 and the 11. Now we know the 11 already struggles in relationships. I know 11 at the minute who is very emotional and uses emotional blackmail as a way of trying to repair his relationship. He can, it's not that he had bad intentions. It's an issue with his soul urge 11 that he will struggle with his intimate relationships and have to learn how to understand and treat people that little bit better. So the 11 often has problems with any number, like the 7 and the 5. I would say the 5, 7 and the 11 are the numbers that find relationships the most difficult or put relationships further down their list. And did I say the 8 as well? I think the 8 as well. Yeah, maybe the 1. But the 5, 7 and the 11, the 11 finds relationships more difficult. They struggle more with them. So I think these two numbers could work together because an 11 is a channel from spirit and 33 expresses those messages. So they could very well work together and achieve success together. Both very intuitive, spiritual, both very old souls, but both very powerful. So they would have to be able to cope. Two powerful people together could be a bit of an issue. But, you know, the 11 is on a spiritual quest. The 33 is more on a quest to spread their spiritual message. So they're both very spiritual numbers. And I do think that they would get on together because they work together. The messenger and the expresser, bringing the message, expressing the message. The 11 and 33 could channel ideas from spirit. They both have that ability. They both have that skill. You know, they could dream together, the 11 and 33, stare at the clouds and dream together. The 11 could bring the message and the 33 could perform that message. You know, they could work well. They're both prone to nervous tension, both you know, might be a bit emotional at times. But remember, if you're both master numbers, you'll both need to have time together and time apart. And, you know, the 33 puts the research puts the 33 and the 11 together. The 11, it doesn't put it with the 11 so much. The 33, it says, is compatible with the 11. And it doesn't mention it on the 11, possibly because the 11 struggles so much with relationships. But I don't see why, as long as the 11 works hard to develop their issues when it comes to relationships, that the 11 and 33 can't make it work. The 11 may not offer the 33 the family and support that they may want. They may not. Because 11s can be a bit changeable and tend to say what people want to hear rather than what the real truth is. So I think the 33 and the 11 have real potential to make it work, as long as the 11 overcomes their issues with relationships. You know, it's not the 11's fault. It's just the energy that you chose to come to in this lifetime. We've all got strengths, we've all got weaknesses in our lives. So don't feel 11s, if you're an 11 soul urge, that I'm putting you down. You have amazing things to bring to this world. It's just relationships aren't your strong point. 33 and the 22. Now these two could work together, one building, one expressing, but they're two very different people. Both master numbers, very highly energetic, or get a lot of energy from spirit. Both very much have the potential to be very spiritual, and the veil between both of these numbers is weaker. because you're master numbers. You're here to do something amazing. Obviously, it's not as powerful as it would be if you were a life path 33 or 22, but it's still a very tough desire or urge to have a 33, a 22, or even an 11 soul urge. So they both need time apart. You know, the 22 needs to build their secure foundation, and the 33 needs to express themselves emotionally and build family and community, you know. And the 22 wants stability and security and organization. The 33 wants performance and emotion and flexibility. So they're kind of each end of the scale when it comes to their nature. The 33 and the 22 are quite opposite, in fact, in their nature. You've got the secure, organised 22 with the emotionally expressive 33. So opposites could attract, and they could work together quite well because they're both very powerful numbers. One wouldn't overshadow the other one. And I think, in my opinion, these two very powerful numbers, even though they're very different people, could very well attract and work together. Both very powerful, both have the potential to follow each other or further each other's dreams, as I've put here. Both very different. This could pose a problem or promote attraction. You know, they say opposites attract, don't they? And the research does put the 33 and the 11 together, I think twice here. 22 is most compatible. Well, they haven't put the 22 and the 33 together, but the 33 has been put with the 22. And again, I don't see why these two very, very, very powerful numbers cannot work together, but they've both got a very, very, very powerful urge to want to build and want to express. So you must make sure you find time for each other, because you both have important desires that need to be achieved in this lifetime. So you need to be able to find a way, if you're a 33 and a 22, to make sure you always make time for each other so that the relationship doesn't drift apart. So last but not least, two 33s together. Now, normally I wouldn't put two 11s, two 22s together. But do you know what? I'd put two 33s together. They'd make quite a passionate, affectionate couple, I think, two 33s together. And I was surprised to see that the research puts two 33s together as well. And they both come to this, add up to the 6. So they were both love, home and family, both highly attentive, affectionate, loving. They would both need time away to create their audience. I could see that they could probably work together. You know, they could, you know, if they both want to create their audience, why can they not both create an audience together? Both very similar people. You could perform and express together. You could be a force to be reckoned with, in my view. But as long as your ideas are the same, you know, there's no point if you're two 33s but your message that you like to express is very different, or one's an artist and one's a polar explorer, that you're going to struggle, you know. So your ideas and your methods of expression, it'd be useful if they were compatible and you could still spend time together. But you're both very powerful numbers, but I think two 33s have a good chance, certainly a better chance than two 11s or two 22s would have. And as I've said, the research says that two 33s are compatible. I would love to be a fly on the wall watching two 33s together, because I think they would make beautiful music together. So I hope you've liked my video today, my last in the series on my relationship compatibility. If you haven't subscribed already, please subscribe to my channel and click that bell icon. And click that bell icon to be up to date with all my latest uploads. And I need likes and I need subscribers, lots of them. You can email me at katie@soulexplorer.net, or you can go to my website, soulexplorer.net, where I've got lots of information and my online aloe vera shop if you want to take a look. I'm going to put the links here to my Facebook, Instagram and LinkedIn and Twitter in the description box, so that you guys can link to me on social media. As ever, guys, trust the soul within you. Only your intuition knows best. Okay, that's really important. Only your intuition knows best. See you soon.